Hello, this is David Gottfried, and I am going to discuss just 7 of the hundreds or thousands of corporate rip-offs inflicted on the American people that are routinely ignored in our political debates. Now, the media continually repeat the gross simplifications and generalizations of our lying, promising politicians, and they never give you the dirt in the details. And now for just 7 rip-offs that are never mentioned. Number 1, doctors continually breach their fiduciary duties to their patients. This might sound boring and abstract, so I'll try to give you the dirt real fast. When a doctor makes a medical decision, he is obligated to do what is in your best interest and not what is in the interest of fattening up his pocketbook. This is because you did not go to medical school. You therefore cannot diagnose and treat ailments. And because you don't have medical expertise, you're in no position to bargain with your doctor. So therefore, the doctor simply has to offer what you really need. And it's my contention that doctors are increasingly likely to breach their fiduciary duties to their patients. I'll give you an example of this as it pertains to clinical trials. Now, a doctor may invite you to participate in the experimental trial of a drug. You may believe that the doctor has sought you out for a clinical trial because he cares about you. However, you don't know, most patients don't know, that doctors often get a finder's fee in excess of $10,000 for each patient they enlist in a clinical trial. Indeed, I remember an article in the New York Times some years back which said that very often a doctor's contract with the pharmaceutical company will explicitly provide that the doctor is not to tell the patient that the doctor, is getting a finder's fee. So doctors routinely don't tell their patients they are getting paid for lassoing their patients into clinical trials. And this is the upshot. The doctor ensnares you into a clinical trial. You think he is doing this out of the kindness of his ever-loving heart. He is doing it for a fee of 10 grand from the drug company, and the drug may be contrary to your best interests because your condition may be stable, you are not declining, and it is not appropriate to rock the boat with a new medicine in which you're going to be the guinea pig. Number 2. Very often, when you deal with merchants, they ask you to sign your name on a computer screen. You can't see what you were signing because the computer screen is 2 inches by 3 inches and contains only the word sign here. Of course, I suppose you can ask for the words you are agreeing to, but try doing that when you're on a line and 15 people are behind you, or when you're stretched out on a gurney and you've got an IV going into you and doctors just can't wait to make you unconscious so you won't know what wrongs they're committing in the course of their medical procedures. Number 3, on May 17th, 2019, and mind you, I read articles like this every day, but on that day I read an article in the Times which said that poor students will suffer new hardships because the Trump administration will now tax aid given to students to help them pay their tuition and living expenses. But this probably will not be discussed in the political debate because it's muffled by the constant roar of what has been the whole of the left for the past 50 or 60 years, and that is an incessant preoccupation with identity politics. And that is, we hear again and again and again stories in which women, we pretend, are either Joan of Arc or Mother Mary, and blacks are invariably educated, polite, and urbane a la Sidney Poitier in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. And so all of this race and sex bullshit is discussed constantly, and the economic degradation of the American people that has been going on since Reagan took office is just ignored. Now, number 4. I know I seem speedy, but people say my videos are too long, so I guess I have to talk fast. More and more corporations provide live customer service for their products. Google, Yahoo, and other titans of international corporate fascism can contribute to the theft of your identity, the destruction of files containing your creative output, the release of prejudicial and scandalous information to third parties, and the election of Donald Trump. And you cannot even speak to a person for aid. You can use their exasperating and homicidal inspiring chat rooms in which your questions invariably will never be answered. You can send emails which will not be responded to. And just remember, the so-called progressives, with the notable and outstanding exception of Elizabeth Warren, are usually very much in bed with the big tech bastards of Silicon Valley. 5. An article in the New York Times reported that updates to the computer software used by radiologists have been coming so fast and so furious that some doctors are having trouble keeping up with all of the constant updates to the software, and as a consequence, some doctors have improperly programmed their machines to emit vastly excessive amounts of radiation, harming their patients. Now get this straight. High tech is not trying to help us, although in spite of their best efforts, sometimes they do improve our lives. High tech bombards us with innovations, most of which we never asked for, to make our existing equipment anachronistic and unusable, and to make us buy more plastic crap. And the time we spend mastering their newer and newer means of communications takes time away from the time we can spend conceiving of new ideas, writing stellar poetic couplets, or making peace. And after we spend billions and billions of dollars on communication technologies, we have come to the unenviable juncture in human history when we can be disturbed every hour on the hour with text messages which say, "What's up?" Number 6. It is getting harder and harder to find the expiration date on bottles of medication. Not only is the font size getting smaller and smaller, but very often the expiration is written in white on a white background. Obviously, this is done to aid corporations in selling expired products. Now, the CFR, the Code of Federal Regulations, should prohibit this. However, for all I know, there probably is some esoteric provision in the CFR, which is tens of thousands of pages long, which explicitly authorizes corporations to write their expiration dates in the most minuscule and inscrutable print that requires a very high-powered magnifying glass. Number 7. In 1996, major media outlets were given subsidies amounting to $60 billion to facilitate the development of high-definition television. Now, to show you how cockeyed our political parties are, so many Republicans, such as Bob Dole, oppose this as a giveaway to big corporations. But the infuriating epitome of bullshit bourgeois liberalism, Bill Clinton, supported it. This scandalous sellout to the rich was not only mendacious, but it also underscored the nation's misunderstanding of its needs. Apparently, the morons in the Clinton administration thought that it was really so important that the picture tube on TVs be changed because we were desperately in need of a sharper and crisper image on our television screens. However, we all know the problem with television is the stupidity and vacuity of its programming. And that concludes 7 examples of rip-offs that are never discussed in our brain-dead political debate. And again, this has been David Gottfried